Sometimes when things go wrong, you can't blame life. Cause when you shot your shot, what was your aim like? What were you targeting? Cause if it ain't right, and you still go with it, then that is on you. It's on you, it's on you, it's on you.
What's going on, you guys? This is ROMI and Sam here, and you are listening to the Mindset Rebooted podcast.
And if you are a first-time listener, thank you so much for stopping by here on the Mindset Rebooted podcast. We like to have conversations that help us to elevate the way we think. And what that means is that we have old ways of thinking that have held us back in the past, and we like to take on new ways of thinking that help us to maximize our full potential and to become the best versions of ourselves.
So if you get any kind of value from our episodes, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and share this with one friend. We want to just help as many people as possible.
Absolutely. And today we're going to be talking about leveraging what you have to get what you want, right? So a lot of us will go out and try to do things that just aren't necessary, right? We're not utilizing exactly what we have because we're not really thinking about what we have as a way to get what we want. And so, for example, I remember when I wanted to get some new music equipment, right? I was like, you know what? I got to get this high-end gear. I got to get this one, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. And what was so interesting about it all was that I wanted to do that only because I saw, okay, every time I go into a pro studio, that's what they got, right? That's what they have. And what I didn't realize was that I was trying to get something that was unnecessary. I wasn't even using what I already had to get the most out of what I wanted, right? And so, for example, if I would have got that new equipment, I actually wouldn't have even known what to do with it. I knew what to do with what I had already, but I wasn't even maxing it to its full potential. I wasn't even using it in that way when it could have been the thing that was getting me the listenership that I wanted. It could have been the thing that was helping me to get views. I could have used it and I could have sent those tracks over to an engineer if I needed to, or I could have just continued to do Google searches and learn exactly what I needed to learn using all of the equipment that I already had, instead of spending more money and doing all of these different things that were unnecessary, that were actually taking away from what I needed to get done. And so if you already have something, you should be thinking, how can I use this to its full potential so that I can get the desired result? And once it's actually necessary for me to move on to a different stage, then that's when I do it. But right now I need to focus on what I currently have.
Yes, I really like that point that we need to focus what we currently have. For example, on our end, we're using your cell phone to record the video of this.
Yeah,
that's what we're using. Which, funnily enough, we were using our cell phones in the very beginning when we were trying to do video ourselves, and it works. What we didn't have video for the last 1 year. We have video now. The cell phone works. We don't need a freaking $500, $1,000, $2,000 camera. The cell phone works. It zooms in, it zooms out, just what we need. Same thing. So another story, people I look up to who have like a lot of money. But when I say a lot of money, they're not rich. They're wealthy people, and they're relatively young. They're around $30 years old to 45 years old. And then I see their phone. And then I'm like, oh, they must have the newest phone right before I see it. But they're using the iPhone XS, which was my old phone, which I think came out 3 years ago. And I'm like, dude, I'm consuming your entire content on YouTube, on podcasts and stuff, but you're still using an old ass phone. Mm-hmm. Why am I trying to buy all the newest stuff? What is the point of that? Because is that really helping me get the lifestyle that I want? Like if you're wealthy, you're rich, you're making money. Like, do I really need a brand new phone to be able to make money?
Right.
And that made me realize, no, bro, like, you don't need new equipment. You just need to know how to use your equipment.
Yeah.
And another side story for me, on Facebook Reels, I've recently had a video that blew up. It's over 8 million views on Facebook right now. You can look it up. 8.5, I think, as of before we started this recording.
Wow.
And it's literally me just recording off my phone, no editing, nothing. Actually, it wasn't even off my phone. I wasn't at the event, so someone who went to my event sent me that video. They let me use that video, and I reposted it, and it went to 8.5 million. No edits. It's a video sent to me via text message that I uploaded, and now it's reached 8.5 million views. So that is a prime example that you don't necessarily need to always worry about production and the fancy stuff. Just get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you'll spend time just overthinking and not getting it out there, and then you're wasting even more time, and then you feel bad about not leveraging what you had when you knew, because hindsight is 2020. You look back and you're like, man, I should have did this, I should have done that when I had it, right? Especially since we live in a day and age where technological advancements are off the chain. That one cell phone that we're using to record us right now, it's better than the computers when they first came out. It does so much more for us, right? Before, a computer would take up an entire lab space, right? And now just a tiny device will be the thing that I can use, right? I don't need a computer to make money. I can do certain things on my phone, and I can use that, right? And so those are some of the things that we can do. But I think it also comes down to understanding, what am I trying to achieve? What is the problem that I'm trying to solve in order to be able to leverage this opportunity, right? So I know we were discussing earlier, sometimes we don't even know what it is that we're supposed to be solving, and we end up trying to solve the wrong problem.
Yes.
And so we're I guess misleveraging, should I say, what we have, because we think, oh, what I really need to do is get more skills in this area and keep studying to get this, when I already have sufficient skills to take me to XYZ.
Yeah, so I'm going to use personal experience because I feel that's the easiest way for me to relate to this topic, is from Dance on the Edge, where we have people showing up. I thought the problem was we need to have more events, because we're at Dance on the Edge, we were capping out around 500 attendees, right? And I was like, I want to get more people to show up at my events per month. So that means I have to, in my mind, I had to increase the amount of events I was hosting. Where when I was talking to my mentors about the situation, they're like, why are you going to restart at a new location, build up a new audience when you already have a strong audience where you're at? Why don't you just increase the people that show up at your current location? Because your location actually has a larger capacity than 500 people. So you haven't even maxed out your location yet. Mm-hmm. Why are you even thinking about going somewhere else and restarting the whole process? And that was a prime example where I thought my problem was the solution to my problem for getting more people was doing more things and restarting. Whereas the real problem was I just need to increase awareness to the current event I have and get more eyes on that.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect example. And I appreciate it because, like, once you understood what the problem was, you were able to then leverage what you had, right? And so one thing that I've been talking about with people lately is the three currencies, right? You have three currencies. You have money, you have time, and you have knowledge, right? And whatever one you want to get, you need to use the other two to be able to get that. So for example, if what I need is money, I'm going to use my time and I'm going to use my knowledge to be able to acquire that. How does that look? Maybe it looks like I have a certain skill set that's in demand. I'm going to spend my time and the knowledge that I've acquired providing a certain service for certain people so that I can then get money in return. That's me leveraging that to be able to solve that problem. Now, what if I need to buy back my time? I'm going to then take my dollars that I currently have, and I'm going to take the knowledge that I currently have, and I'm going to combine the two to be able to buy back my time. So maybe I understand that there's a way for me to make money in a certain field. But because I don't want to spend the time doing it, but I have the know-how, I'm going to pay somebody else and I'm going to pass on the knowledge of how to do these things, and I'm going to manage the process. That way I can get that money in return. That's what I currently do for my business now. And what if the last thing that I need is knowledge? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the money that I currently have and I'm going to take my time and I'm going to invest it in developing knowledge. Maybe that looks like, hey, ROMI has a course. I want to learn how to dance salsa. And so because he is someone who's an expert in that and I want to learn that, well, I'm going to take my time learning it, but I'm going to pay you for the knowledge that you already have so that now I can be out there as smooth as you on the dance floor. And so when it comes down to leveraging what you have to get what you want, you have to identify the problem, kind of like what ROMI did in his situation when it came down to maxing out his crowd. And then what you do is after you understand the problem, you take those two things that you have to get whatever the last thing is that you don't have.
So you reminded me of something. It's there's a saying, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated, right? And I think that is a really good example of leveraging yourself. Because if you're going where people are appreciating you, they value your time, knowledge, or what was the other one?
Money.
Or money, then obviously you're going to get more success there. People, wherever you're appreciated, you'll find some more success versus wherever you're just being tolerated. So again, with the example with Dance on the Edge, we know we're appreciated and that we're celebrated at our current signature location in Old Sac. Why would we want to leave that location to restart somewhere else? Again, what's the root problem? The root problem is that we just don't have enough people aware of that event. So if we want to increase the capacity, we just have to increase the awareness.
Yeah.
Right. So that is using the leverage that we've had, the currency of time that we invested in creating this event, where everyone's starting to recognize it. It's an annual activity in the summertime that the city and the county look forward to now as a tourism and economic opportunity for the city. Why would we leave that? They celebrate us. We could leverage their appreciation for us to grow even more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a perfect example, right? Leveraging relationships, connections, nurturing those things that you already have, right? Because two heads are better than one. And the whole point of leveraging something is to be able to take advantage of something, to be able to get something greater in return than what you are putting out. Like, that's the whole point of leveraging. And so if I'm someone like ROMI who has the crowd, I have the following, I'm thinking, okay, how can I get all of these people to also be brand ambassadors for me right there, because I know that I'm leveraging their unique connections. It's actually one of the reasons why I think LinkedIn is so powerful, right? It's like if I connect with one person who's a connection with someone else, who's a connection with someone else, if this one person engages with me and then that thing that they engaged with, maybe it's the post or whatever, or the opportunity, it then gets seen to the other people that they're connected with. I have now broadened my reach. I've now enlarged my coast to where now, where it was once just something that started with me, it's branched out and now it's serving me even without me having to do a whole bunch extra. All I have to do is, one, add value, and two, nurture the relationships that I already have to be able to get in return exactly what I'm looking for.
And it's really key that you mentioned nurture the relationships you already have by bringing value to the table, right? So in the three currencies that we mentioned, time, money, and knowledge, you could bring one of those three things, or even all three, to someone else and provide it and ask nothing in return. If I think one of the, what's that one book, How to Influence Your Friends?
Yeah.
I'm ruining the name of the book. My bad. This is a classic. Definitely, I recommend you looking up that book. If you find it based off of my crappy title, it's good for you. It's a classic, and the core principle is always bringing value to the people around you. And because eventually, if I share my knowledge with you, like through this podcast, maybe you yourself have your own event that you're like, how do we get more attendees? Maybe you had an aha moment from our conversation here. I've just provided you value, and that later on in the future, if I know who you are and maybe I ask for help, you might actually want to help me out now. It's trading currency of my knowledge, and then later on you could help me out with your time through labor or something. And it's kind of crazy because that's actually how we built Dance on the Edge. We knew how to dance. We want to share it with other people. And people were like, oh, we love your expertise. We noticed that you're always showing up on this time, these dates, at these locations. We're going to show up. And we've had people say, how can I support you? Are you guys accepting donations? Are you guys selling t-shirts or drinks or anything? Or are you looking for sponsors? How can we support you? And it's totally dependent on providing value first.
Yeah, and now that the people want to support you with money, what's so dope about it is that you can now, once you gain one thing, right? So follow me on this. I might initially be leveraging my time and my knowledge to get this money, but then it's going to change. I'm going to then get that money, and I'm going to leverage that money and my time to get more knowledge, or I'm going to then leverage that money and my knowledge to buy back some more time. And then I'm going to use that time to then add more value to get more money, and it just changes. You will be in a different phase depending on what you're doing, and the whole point is to understand that you're leveraging this right now to get to a certain end goal, but then you're going to need to get to a different end goal, and you have to reassess your situation so that you can then leverage new opportunities to get you further along towards fulfilling the vision that you have.
So it almost sounds like it's pretty much a full-on circle of the three currencies that you leverage anything to be able to accumulate more of those three currencies.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. The three currencies again: time, knowledge, and money.
Yeah. So for example, right, I initially was using my time and my knowledge to be able to work a certain job, right, that would get me higher salary. So then when I was getting that higher salary, what I ended up doing was I leveraged that money and my knowledge to invest so that I could then buy back my time. I ended up getting a business and then outsourcing certain things to other people so that they would end up working on my behalf. I would then be able to stop the working that I was doing so that I could then get more money. And then I was using that same money and now my newfound time to be able to study so I could get more knowledge. That way I could then use the knowledge and my time to get me some more money, which is why last night I was thinking about new business ventures that I was getting ready to get into. And I was sharing with you prior to the show, and it clicked. All of the knowledge that I had gained, I could leverage that. I was looking for these new opportunities, right? But the different skill sets that I gained and the connections that I gained at my last position of employment, it made sense for me to be able to leverage those connections to be able to make money in that industry without having to work a 9-to-5 in that industry. I realized, oh wow, I could be a third-party seller to these people. That way I can make more money, and I already know how to go about it now because of the time I spent and the knowledge I acquired. And so now I'm going back towards making more money. I hope that everybody was able to follow that same train of thought of what I did just to get back into this same position.
Yeah, and yeah, that was a lot. But if you kept track with it, it makes a lot of sense. And I guess a simplified version of that is look at your resume. Your resume is a list of skills and knowledge that you've acquired over time, which is why now you're applying to different jobs in the hopes of seeking and gaining more money.
Yeah.
Right? And then as you work a new job, you're going to accumulate new skills, more time in those in that industry, which will then give you the opportunity again to try and get more money, right? That's the natural development for anyone who works at a company. And same for entrepreneurs like you yourself. You've gained new skills to also expand your operations as an entrepreneur, as a self-employed person. But vice versa, same for students. You go to school, you spend time in school so that you could get money. That's really, I'm gonna say, like 5th grade level summary of what you just said.
Yeah,
right?
Essentially.
You got very specific, so if you want to get into more of the business third-party vending that he's doing, hit him up. It's going to be in the comments, or not comments, the caption. What did I say? Where was I going to put it? I was going to put it in the descriptions. Just hit him up on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes.
I'm going to push him to do consulting fees if y'all do hit him up. Because, his knowledge is worth your time and your money.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about, leveraging the knowledge that you just gained in order to make more money.
Yeah.
In order to have money so that you can spend it on things that you want to do on your own time.
Absolutely.
It's a full circle. It's kind of crazy. It's not even crazy. It just makes sense. It's just, I don't think we spend that much time, and I don't think we do it frequently enough to review all of these things that we have leverages on.
Yes.
And how to use them.
Yeah.
Because there are times where I've felt the imposter phenomena, or what it's known now today, imposter syndrome, where I'm like, I don't know if I should even be asking for all this amount of money. Like one time I was negotiating with a promoter to do a big project for them, and I was like $20,000, and that was the biggest bid I ever did before as a self-employed person. And I'm like, bro, why am I even asking for so much? Because in my mind, I'm like, bro, I used to work $20 an hour, so like, why am I asking $20,000? And that's where it's like, well, what skills and what results am I bringing to the table? And now it became a matter of not of my time, of how much time I spent on the project, but really what knowledge and skills have I accumulated over my time in order to get them results. And that's what they look for. Businesses look for, can you provide me results? If you can provide me results, I'm willing to pay you premium because you are saving me time in order to get the results I want.
Oh, and I love that you just went through that journey, because all of us go through that journey in terms of like, wait, am I really supposed to be asking this? Am I worth it? But once you actually go through the journey that you just went through in your mind, it builds the confidence in you to be able to ask for that $20,000.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the whole point of assessing this. It's not to go about things aimlessly. It's really about understanding where you're at, what's the problem that you're facing or that you're looking to solve, and then what do I already possess that I can leverage to be able to get what I want and solve this problem at the same time. Because anytime, and this is just business 101, the best people in business are the ones who are actively solving a problem. But what they do is they make it make sense for them so that it's a win-win solution. Your problem has been solved, and I have gained in return what it was that I was looking for. That's what you have to do. Maybe that looks like, and this is gonna sound so superficial, whatever. Oh man, this is so superficial. But if you're a great looking person, okay, leverage your looks. I understand that it's superficial to be a model or to be an actress or things like that. Like, sometimes it comes off like that, but leverage that. Or I just heard a story from Jay-Z the other day where he was talking with Kevin Hart, and he said he saw the scariest person he ever saw in his life. And the dude was coming towards him, and he literally was looking at him, and he had like a slice across his face, what we would call a $150, and he just looked so mean-spirited. And Jay-Z said, for the first time, he said he was scared. He was actually scared. He looked behind him to see if there was somebody behind him, and there wasn't. He was only coming up to him. Where am I going with this? The point is that the guy ended up going up to him, and he ended up asking him just for an autograph. And he had the nicest smile in the world. But if I'm that guy, knowing that I have a scary look, or if I'm Jay, I might leverage that opportunity to be like, you know what, maybe I should have this guy as a bodyguard, because chances are, if he is someone who looks so big and scary, he's gonna be able to fend off anybody who is not really friendly, that's gonna try to come at me and attack me personally. So it's just a little light example of how you might have a certain attribute, you might have a certain skill or whatever it is that you may know is perceived by others as being something or something of value. And so you can leverage that, turn it into an opportunity to get something that you want in return just off of what you already have.
I got nothing else to add on to this. If you got value out of this, leverage what you just learned to help yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Follow us on Mindset Rebooted podcast, and me personally, and ROMI. All the links are right there in the description. Oh crap.
Yeah, it's in the description. Were you about to say caption or comments?
Yes, it's right there below. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, share this with somebody else, and until next time, Mindset Rebooted.
Sometimes when things go wrong, you can't blame life. Cause when you shot your shot, what was your aim like? What were you targeting? Cause if it ain't right, and you still go with it, then that is on you.